Hey, it's Lance of 20-Sided Night, and today we're going over the Oni in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. They are a magic giant that can bring terror to your game, or
shenanigans.
Yeah, or maybe teach your bard a lesson. Before we go into all that, though, I want to remind you all to like, comment, subscribe to be entered to our giveaways. Onis look like demonic ogres with blue or green skin, dark hair, and a pair of short ivory horns protruding from their foreheads. Their eyes are dark and with strikingly white pupils, and their teeth and claws are jet black, like Jet Magazine. But that's just how Oni are in here. If you do want to have the more classic sort of samurai red styled Oni, I would probably also think it would be cool to change up the spells a little bit. If you do want to have a sort of red face that looks sort of like one of those kabuki masks, I think it's called. I don't know, with like the big two-handed great
bonker,
great club, or what have you.
Big bonker.
Yeah, the big bonker. That could be it too. And yeah, you just want to take it from here.
The Oni have an armor class of 16, they have 110 health points, and they have a ground and flying speed of 30. For their senses, they have dark vision up to 60 feet, and they have passive perception of 14. And they speak common and giant. One thing that does set them apart from their ogre or half-ogre brethren is the fact that they can cast spells, which is based off their charisma stat. And they have a DC overcoming their spells and spell-like abilities is 13. So at will, the Oni can cast Darkness and Invisibility, and once per day they can cast Charm Person, Cone of Cold, Gaseous Form, and Sleep. And for the purposes of overcoming damage resistance, their claws and their glaive do count as magical damage, and they do have a regeneration ability, so as long as they have 1 health point, they regain 10 health per turn, which is really annoying and helps them stay in the fight even longer. They do have a multi-attack, which does help them deal even more damage per turn. And the last ability that the Oni has is their shape-changing. The Oni transforms into a small or medium humanoid, into a large giant, or back into its true form. Other than its size, the statistics are the same for each form. The only equipment that is transformed is its glaive. Its glaive is always going to be relative to the size of its form. So if it's changing form to the shape of a small child, it's going to be It's going to be a child-sized spear. It's not going to be like a kid with way too big of a spear.
Anyway, going into a little bit more about the Oni there. One thing that can be useful, when it dies, it does revert back to its true Oni form. So if you are, say, killing a little kid, it does go back into an Oni, and not just, oh, you killed a toddler, well,
you're going to jail for child murder.
Or you'll be heralded as a hero for child murder, depending on where you are.
Yeah, just very confused guards trying to rescue. It's like, all right, you're going to jail, big tough adventurers. Really struggled with killing this small kid with a stick.
Yeah, one thing with the Oni dropping that stick when it dies, I would definitely say that the glaive itself is magical. That could be a fun reward for your group. After they kill this thing, they get a magic glaive that deals a D10 of damage. And
I'd just throw in some other magic items, because one thing it does talk about in the description is that they're a lot like just your regular murder hobo, probably a lot more edgelordy because they do like to eat kids.
So just like the warlock or the bard?
Depending, or the rogue with their fingerless gloves and they're sitting in the corner.
So a drow.
Yeah.
So definitely would have some other magic items on it. Remember, if it does have magic items on it, it would be a good idea to use that in combat. That may change its CR from a CR 7 to what have you, depending on what it has.
Yeah, maybe don't give it the dagger of 3 wishes.
Yeah, or just if it does have health potions on it, since those are magical, it would be a good idea for the Oni to use those in combat first. Speaking more about an Oni's tactics in battle, since it does have a fly speed of 30, it can also cast dark vision, and it has that glaive with the reach of 10 feet. It would be a really good idea in combat to have the Oni striking, flying about 10 feet up, and staying out of melee range of, say, your paladin with its smite abilities, or your fighters with its really strong multi-attacks, while still being able to swing that magic glaive down at them, using things like its dark vision and invisibility and gaseous form to escape once its hit points do go, say, below half.
Yeah, which again is another, tactics like that are what are going to separate the Oni from its ogre and half ogre brethren, where the ogre is just going to just, well, I'm getting beat up, so I guess I just gotta punch harder, coach. You know, the Oni's gonna use some tactics like, man, that paladin, he's making his sword glow real bright. I'm gonna just sort of fly up 10 feet and get out of there.
Yeah, because there are no... Weird. Because there are... You're doing that anyway. Because there are no smite abilities by Raw that can be used in range, which sucks for the paladin, but it's a great deal to the Oni. I would imagine I keep bringing up Paladin because I do imagine these guys are a very evil force, and it could be within the Oath of Vengeance or even in the Oath of or Oath of Devotion to go out and slay something this nasty. They could be, and Oni can be a hint to greater and more malicious evils, such as a hag covered in the area. They could really be taking advantage of an Oni in the area, using it as an enforcer to make sure that nobody gets any big ideas of stopping them while they're completing whatever dark and
dastardly deeds.
Yeah, things that they may do. And since Oni love to taste of delicious children's meats, they could be, who's to say that Anna's hag that's collecting babies for their, spawning of other hags, they could be paying a percentage of babies.
Like a baby
like a baby tax. Exactly.
Listen, hag, I get 10% off the top of each baby.
Yeah, just like take it off the top of a baby.
Yeah, real King Solomon situation. Or, also because the Oni, they're a little bit like a party member, except for, all about being evil, so maybe the hag's also giving them like a magic broom since they do like magic items, so it's like, yeah, you get to eat this baby, but also you get a magic broom.
Yeah, or another fun way to play this, say if you are using an Oni as a DM, what you can do is have the Oni disguise itself as either a local lord or a hero that's not able to fight anymore, or just what have you, and it knows the location of the local hag coven that's causing some disappearances in the forest, or the dragon that's going out and doing dragon stuff.
Yeah.
And the Oni wants you to go out, and it's trying to have you kill these different threats to it, so it can be a bigger fish in this small pond. That can, and then later on, it can use whatever magic items that you've turned over to it that aren't inherently helpful to your group. Like, say a lot of you already have a +1 sword or a pither of what have you, and this guy's paying a hefty sum for it, being a disguise as a lord. It comes back with this whole magic arsenal and whatnot to slay you guys, the murderers of that hag coven. And it will be also more deadly if, say, right as soon as you finish slaying that final, other apex creature, that black dragon that's been causing trouble, as soon as you're done, before you can rest, the Oni appears.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I'm the kindly old guy who's been giving you hints and tricks, and now it's time to fight.
Yeah, it can be seen kind of as a jerk move, but the Oni's a jerk, so DMs, these guys are really your chance to sort of...
Shrek your party up.
Yeah, to Shrek your party up. Don't eat it again. And I think we're just gonna take that.
No!
Dude, no more onion!
No!
I can smell it. It's horrible.
Oh my god!
So aside from just being another monstrous encounter when you're facing an Oni, they can be really good to split the party and even deceive them. Say you have that bard character or the rogue who's always using its charisma
to be evil.
To both be evil and to, try to woo every lady in town Well, the Oni could use that chance to seduce that bard or really cringy player out of town because it detects its magic loot on it or what have you, and then it could ambush them. What you can do is have this Oni disguise itself as a sexy lady or a man. Listen, as long as they don't look like me, it's okay. Don't make your Onis look like me.
No, fetishize Lance, make it look like Lance.
No, I'm saying don't, because I'm gross. But anyway, say you are going to have your Oni be disguised as some sort of, sexy creature, and it does go out and seduce the bard. Say, hey bard, I'm totally falling for your wiles. Why don't you come spend the night with me? I have a shack just out of town. You don't have to pay bar tab. Blah, blah, blah. And then your bard goes. Your Oni did detect when they first rode into town that magic loot that it had on it or anything like that. And then it goes, tries to butcher the bard and take its stuff. If the bard wins, it has a really cool story to tell how it beat this Oni and was able to get whatever other magical loot it has on it. If the Oni is able to destroy the bard, there's a couple ways they could play this out. Either the Oni comes back disguised as the bard, luring them one at a time to go back to Shack, kill,
or just
repeat.
that guy makes a new character. There's always just the bard's there, but he's just an Oni, and no one else knows but the bard.
Yeah, that could be pretty cool. Way to teach a character, teach a player a lesson to not be that guy, but then also make sort of important encounters in a group. I hope you use Onis in your game. They seem pretty cool. I also hope that you remember to subscribe to us. And, well, bye for now.
Give me back my onion!